Hello, what's up, guys? This is your boy Tusiko from Gadget Berry. Yesterday, I promised you guys a video about the top 10 Netflix movies and series, but it so happened that I ended up reviewing Breaking Bad for the entire video. So what I realized is that I cannot just talk about all these movies in one video. I can only mention them and just maybe say a few words about them, just so it can be practical for like a 10 to 15 minutes video that I'm willing to do. Well, that's my aim because obviously I don't want to give you guys a 2 hours long video. Obviously, no one's gonna watch and finish that because they would have like a total of 10 movie reviews, which doesn't really make sense. So moving on, excuse my voice, I kind of have a flu. Well, moving on, the first movie, obviously, it's not a movie, it's a series. It's gonna be Breaking Bad. Now, I did mention to you guys yesterday that it's about a professor and his former student. The professor's name is Walter White, and his former student is Jesse Pinkman, who pursue a methamphetamine business together with the expertise that they learned from chemistry. The other one was a chemistry student, and the other one was a chemistry teacher, who ended up working together in in producing and selling these drugs to the public. You also got to check out this series called Bloodline, which features Danny and his brothers and his family that never really liked them. He comes back from hustling or wherever the place that he was, and he ends up being killed by his own brothers, and his mother ends up finding out this about this truth, and instead of her testifying against the other son that killed the other son, she testifies against the deceased. So this is just a very sad one. Check it out, it's called Bloodline. And the third show on my list is gonna be Better Call Saul. Because Saul was their lawyer in the initial series called Breaking Bad. Saul was their lawyer who actually he fought almost each and every legal battle that came their way, and he did that with success almost all the time. I mean, I don't know how many times Jesse Pinkman would mess up, but obviously his lawyer being Saul would just come to the rescue, and he would help them with money laundering as well. Since in his office there was like huge amounts of hidden storages just for money from his different clients. I mean, carrying like $1 million in cash to these guys was just child's play, bro. Like I don't know how many millions, if not billions, Saul had in that office. So it follows his journey as a criminal lawyer. So the main criminal that's actually featured there is we do see Jesse Pinkman as well, but the star of the show obviously it's Saul, but the main criminal that is focused on old Mike, so an old man who really loves his grandchild, would do anything for her. He's got a daughter and a grandchild. Those are the only people that he takes care of. And Mike was now working as he had just humbled himself. He was working as a security guard, but obviously he'd do crime from now and then, from time to time. So he needed Saul's services. It just follows through. It's also written by Vince Gilligan and follows from the same storyline as Breaking Bad. So you're definitely gonna love this one. It follows Mike, so you can just Google Mike. He's a very famous actor. You're gonna see Mike from Better Call Saul or Mike from Breaking Bad. And moving on, the last Breaking Bad film that I'm going to talk about is El Camino. Now, El Camino follows Jess Pinkman's life after the whole saga, after the whole ordeal, after Mr. White had shot everybody in that last meeting, including himself. Fortunately, Jesse Pinkman was not part of that meeting, so he survived. He survived that rampage by Mr. White. So this follows him as well, and it shows us how dangerous thing like life is, and how dangerous things had become without Mr. White's protection or without Mr. White's supervision for Jesse to navigate through life on his own, since he was a junkie, since he was a criminal, and like to say since he was naive and young compared to Mr. White, who came with a lot of expertise and a lot of precautions, who introduced a lot of policies to what they were doing. Maybe that's why they were not caught for quite a long time. Now El Camino follows Jesse Pinkman. Moving on forward, now we're done with the Breaking Bad movies, films. Those are actually not movies; they are actually series. So you can just binge on them. They've got like episodes and seasons. Very, 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 very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting watch. Films. So the fifth one is gonna be Sense Eight. Sense Eight involves eight people, as you'd obviously presume with that sense eight, and that sense might actually stand for something that has to do with their cognitive abilities. Because obviously, what ended up happening is that they ended up sharing their cognitive capacity. Now that means that they ended up sharing their, just to put it in simple terms, their brain signals would interchange from time to time. So, for example, and the most interesting part about this is that they were from different countries from all over the globe, not in one continent, but from all over the globe. Like you'd get one in Malaysia, you'd get one in Ghana, you'd get one in Australia, you'd get one in Russia. I'm not very specific with those countries. I'm just making an example, but obviously they were scattered across the globe, and they were sharing their senses, so to speak. From time to time, you'd find that you are sitting by yourself in Ghana or by yourself in South Africa, and you get. I want to use the word hypnotized, but I'm not too sure if it's a perfect fit for this context. But then you get hypnotized by somebody else's brain signals and spirits who's in America, or maybe let's just say who's in China. Now, this person has maybe karate skills or anything like that. All those skills will be transferred to you, and you would not really, really, really know what happened. You would not think with your own conscience at that time. That person will be controlling your body with their thoughts unintentionally. It's just a void that they go to from time to time. Very, very interesting series. Check it out. It's called Scent 8. And I recently found out that the people behind it are also the people behind The Matrix and also the movie called Lost. Like it's very, very serious executive producers that are behind this Scent 8 series, and it's the bomb, bruh. It's the shit. So definitely check it out. Now the sixth one on the list is gonna be the OA. This features Prairie, all the way from Michigan, who had gone missing for 7 years and apparently cannot tell what happened to her within these 7 years while she was missing. And the most mysterious part about this is that when she left or when she disappeared, she was mute. She couldn't speak. But when she comes back, oh no, she was blind. But when she comes back now, she has vision. She can actually see, which was very, very weird. And the fact that she couldn't explain what happened to her was weird. But us that were watching, we know that she was abducted by a weird man. I'd like to use the word weird. It doesn't look weird, but the things that it does are weird because he approaches people. I'm not too sure if it gets males too, but according to what I saw, gets females or people and takes them to his lab and does some experiments on them. He probes them with things and stuff, stimulates their brains and all that sort of on all those things, yeah. So he was not doing like proper doctoral stuff. I don't know what was his qualification, but I believe he was a doctor because that's how he was actually reeling these women in at the first place from clubs and stuff like that. And he was targeting people who had an NDE. Now, for those of you who don't know what an NDE is, it's a near-death experience. So he targeted those people who've almost died in their lives. I don't know how he met them, or he actually uh, interviewed them. They didn't know that they were being interviewed to be abducted, but yes, that get to know each other thing that he did. Yes, there was an interview for him, and he'd find out that no, if he actually had an NDE and you'd be interesting for him, definitely check the OA out. Number seven on the list is Squid Game. I almost said the Squid Game. I don't know why there's no D at the beginning, but anyways, it's Squid Game, where hundreds of contestants get into this game thinking that they're gonna get a lot of money and they've got a chance of survival. They're not even told that if you fail at these games that you're gonna be playing within our camp, we're gonna shoot you on the spot or you might die while playing one of these games. They don't tell you, but they tell you that you're highly likely to make a lot of money if you win. And the most interesting thing is that the money that you're gonna win gets filled right in front of you in a large bottle, in a large transparent bottle, which is like a sphere in the top of the room, just hanging on the top of the room where all these contestants sleep. So you see each and every time you'll play a game and you succeed, you see the money getting filled in that see-through glass bucket. So that's another motivation for them, but they do not know what's coming in store. Well, when I first watched this thing, like I thought it's gonna be some the Money Heist vibes because of those guns that they were carrying, their stands, and obviously the masks. And it's not the same masks as I thought they were just doing a variation of the masks, of course. And their jumpsuits really gave them away for me. I really thought it's gonna be some uh, Money Heist type of vibes, but I was definitely wrong. Squid Game is one of the best Netflix series that you can watch in 2022. Moving on to the next one is Jane the Virgin. This one is very funny, bro. This one is gonna be number 8, but it's very, very funny. Jane got Jane the Virgin, as the title says, Jane was a virgin, because she was very, very spiritual and she was waiting for the right guy, obviously. She was she was well in the early she was in the early 20s, chasing a career and goals, obviously. She was currently working at this hotel as a hostess. Now what actually happened to Jane is that she got accidentally or unintentionally inseminated. She went to the gynecologist for other things, for her other private things, and then the gynecologist ended up inseminating her accidentally. Wow. And she later found out that the father of the child that she was now pregnant with unintentionally was actually her boss and the previous crush. So they've once met before and they've shared a magical moment, but it didn't amount to anything. When I say a magical moment, I don't mean they had sexual relations. Obviously, I mean they met and they had a vibe. There was a spark, but they didn't take it anyway. Only to find out now that Jane, whilst in the preparations for her wedding with Michael, who was a long time boyfriend, who was a cop. Well, she found out that she's pregnant, and Michael was like, "Oh, I understand. I don't know, we can keep the baby, or I can still be with you whilst you have the baby and with this." But then guys, those things, they just don't work. So it just didn't work, bro. Jane ended up marrying Raphael, who was her previous boss, but she ended up checking if things would have been the other way if she ended up with Michael. So Jane ended up interchanging between these two guys until she found out that no, I was actually a virgin before all this shit happened to me. I still need to go out there and experience stuff outside of these two guys. So she ended up moving on with other guys and stuff, back and forth, back and forth. But she ended up marrying Rafael once again, Mateo's father. Now, Mateo is that kid that she got through the accidental insemination, obviously. Enough about Jane the Virgin. Now let's go on to Friends, one of my all-time favorites. This features Joey, Chandler, Monica, Ross. I don't know who I'm not mentioning. Phoebe. A lot of interesting characters. A lot of you might know Friends. A lot of you might not, because this sitcom also aired on television. I'm not too sure which channels. It aired and it still airs in some countries on television. So this one is quite popular. It's called Friends. Check it out. It's very funny and interesting. Number 10 is going to be How I Met Your Mother. It's also a sitcom, almost like Friends, but obviously, as it says, It's we follow a young man's journey as as he navigates the love scene and he meets women of different types and stuff like that. But he ends up meeting his ideal woman, who ends up being the mother of his children. So throughout the whole series, he's narrating to his children how he met their mother. Pretty interesting, and it's got quite a suspense because we want to know which woman finally becomes the mother of these kids as he meets over 10 women. Now that's Ted, you get Baniston, get what's this one? I need to remember this lady. You get Robin, you get Lily, you get Marshall. Quite interesting sitcom to watch. And lastly, The Big Bang Theory. And this sitcom features Leonard, Sheldon, Penny, Raj, Amy, Benedict, and Howard. Not only these actors, but these are the main characters. You see Howard with those blue skinny jeans and the polo neck over there. You see you see Sheldon with these childish skinny t-shirts for kids. Howard in his Mexican type belt. You see Amy with that neat jersey and that so out of style skirt. You see, like they all have like different types of dress codes. You see Raj Kutrapali with his jacket on, his shirt on, formal shirt by the way, and he also has that neat wear underneath. I think it's a pullover or something. So, yeah. And Leonard is always wearing something that has a hooded hair. Trust me, it's always gonna be a hoodie. And by some luck, Leonard ended up dating Penny. Sheldon ended up dating Amy. Howard ended up dating Benedict up to, I don't know, the last season. You guys have yourselves a good one. I'm definitely gonna be having myself a good one here. Peace. But before I go, if you guys enjoyed the video, just press the like button, share it with your friends, and of course, just subscribe to the channel. I mean, 80% of you guys that are watching this video are not subscribed to the channel. I was checking my stats, and I see that only 20% of my viewership actually is subscribers from my subscribers. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribe. Let's just fill out the other 80%. You guys have yourselves a good one there. Peace.